Let's join a recent training session. You will hear our participants talking about the CQ exchange factors, the relationship between newcomers and members of the host culture. You'll hear them mentioning individual or self-identity factors, those factors that are centered basically on language and generational differences. You'll also hear them talking about environmental or cultural identity factors, which include cultural context, high relationship, assertiveness, time orientation, profit orientation, or cultural tightness. And then you'll also hear them talking about collaborative, those job identity factors that include autonomy, role discretion, and role clarity, among others. So let's join them now and hear what the participants have to say about CQ.
I like to work in a very social environment. I've kind of noticed that since being here. In my previous position, it was kind of like you were just told to do something and you sort of sat there and did it, and as long as you did it and weren't messing around with something, then that was fine. But no one really sort of engaged you properly, and it's a bit sort of flimsy in terms of the managerial structure perhaps, but here it's more of a case of everyone kind of interacts in quite a social manner, especially with what I do, like working in the labs and supervising. I talk to people quite a lot. I do quite like this, but I also have the sort of idea that using technology is still important. So obviously, if I'll need to research some things if I'm doing a new experiment that I haven't done before. I appreciate that technology has its place in the workplace, but I do think that in a social sort of environment, when you're actually interacting with people, it shouldn't necessarily be present.
So if someone gives me an assignment, 5 things I'm looking for is, well, one of them is the deadline. Because that way I can set my timelines and set the dates where certain things need to be done. The second thing is I want to know how important it is to the company, the impact that it will have on the company. 3, I want to know my limit of authority. So I want to know what I can and what I cannot do, because it allows me to be a little bit creative in my approach with the assignment. The other thing is that I want to know what the expectation, I want to know the goal of the assignment. And most importantly, I would like to know what a good job looks like, so that way that's what I'm aiming for.
So we are the Gen Axis, and what we answered, we got into actually, it was the whole 20 minutes was just on question 1. But it was, what am I looking for in the workplace, or what are we looking for? And we were basically looking at how do we like to work. And we came up with 4 things. One was, at this stage in our lives, we prefer to have autonomy. So it's basically knowing what the task is, what needs to be done, but being able to execute it in the way that we need to. So being having an independent work environment, I would say. And also with that autonomy, but knowing that, of course, ensuring that we meet that deadline. So as long as we know what the expectation is, and we said knowing the expectation or the outcome, then just allowing us to do that, execute that in a way that needs to and allows us to be creative to do so.
Security, I think job security, that's very important to us as well, especially those of us that are soon to be approaching retirement.
What type
What
of
files
files?
do you keep?
How do you file?
We file the old-fashioned way.
Yeah, I do, because I have
I know
to.
I
That's
do
how
as
my
well.
boss prefers, you know. I now find myself doing that more so electronically, but then I have to tell them where to find it. So, you know, I have to go back to the, I have to do both.
And we also said that we prefer to, to read documents, like not on the computer. We prefer to print it off. I don't know if
I have to highlight.
Oh, okay. We prefer to print it off and read it and go through it in that sense of the word. But, you know, reading a book on an iPad is different. But when it comes to work-related things, we prefer to print it off. Because I was given the example of, for example, the newspaper. Robin said she loves to open up the newspaper and read the newspaper. But my daughter would never read a newspaper. She just goes straight to Burn News, and she would read the Royal Gazette on a computer. I cannot do that. Or I prefer not to do that. So
when my friends come, if they're kids to visit or my nieces come down, they always ask for the Wi-Fi password. It's the first question before, can I have some water? Can I, where's the bathroom? It's even my son had a birthday party on Saturday, and all my nieces and our godchildren, they all just laid on the floor in the TV room, and they had all the devices. Whoever needed to charge it, and they were just all on the
And they
devices.
said they had a great time.
And they had a great time.
My little sister is essentially the I generation, and like we get on really well and everything. Like we're pretty close, but of course she'll be sat there in like the living room with her iPad whilst we're all talking to each other, like playing around on a little game, and I'm just like, what are you doing? Like that's rude. You can't do that. Like if you want to use the computer or play a game, just like sort of do it in your own time, sort of thing, and not like around people. But obviously, because she's that generation where I kind of feel like she's grown up surrounded by this technology, but not necessarily appreciating where it came from. And I feel like I kind of do.
same thing, feedback face-to-face. Not so much the email. I prefer, or we said we prefer someone to come to us and discuss the feedback one-on-one or as a group, and a lot of collaboration, sharing of ideas and those types of things as far as feedback is concerned. What I need when I have completed a job, we said I know the word appreciation came up, to feel appreciated, because some of us work really hard and go over and beyond the call of duty, and it's nice to feel appreciated. You know, a younger person might not think like that, I'm pretty sure, but it's nice to feel appreciated.
Let us help you to manage the CQ relationships in your organization or institution. We maintain an information clearinghouse containing strategies, resources, and coaching tools to make your CQ interventions more successful. Join our growing membership at cq4us.org.